Story 1. I've been working at the Department of Motor Vehicles for about 3 years now. It's not glamorous work, but it pays the bills and I actually enjoy helping people navigate the bureaucracy. Most folks are pretty understanding when they have to wait, especially during busy periods like this one in late spring when everyone's renewing their registrations. I started this job right after my mom got sick. She needed someone to drive her to treatments, and the DMV schedule gave me flexibility that my old retail job didn't. The work can be stressful, sure, but I've seen pretty much everything by now. Or so I thought. It was a Tuesday morning, and we were absolutely slammed. Spring renewal season always brings out the crowds, plus we were short-staffed because 2 people called in sick. The line stretched almost to the door, and everyone had been waiting at least 45 minutes. I was doing my best to process people quickly while still being thorough with the paperwork. That's when she walked in. This woman, I'll call her Karen because that's exactly what she was, stormed through the front door like she owned the place. She was maybe in her 40s, wearing expensive-looking workout clothes and carrying a designer purse. She took one look at the line and her face twisted up like she'd smelled something awful. Instead of taking a number like everyone else, she marched straight to the front of the line where this elderly man was waiting to renew his license. "Karen, excuse me, I need to get through. I have important business to handle." Elderly man, "Ma'am, the line starts back there. We've all been waiting." "Karen, I don't think you understand. My taxes pay all of your salaries here. I shouldn't have to wait behind people who probably don't even contribute to society." The whole room went quiet. Everyone was staring at her with their mouths open. I could see people pulling out their phones, probably thinking this was going to be good. I walked over from my window to try to diffuse the situation. "Ma'am, I understand you're in a hurry, but everyone needs to take a number and wait their turn. It'll probably be about 20 more minutes." "Karen, 20 minutes? Are you kidding me? Do you know who I am? I own 3 businesses in this town. I employ people. I contribute more in taxes in 1 year than most of these people make in salary." She gestured around the room like everyone else was beneath her. An older woman with a walker shook her head in disgust. "I'm sorry, but the policy applies to everyone equally. If you'd like to take a number, I can help you as soon as possible." That's when Karen completely lost it. She started screaming about how incompetent we all were, how she was going to have everyone fired, how her tax dollars were being wasted on lazy government workers. The whole time, she's getting louder and more aggressive. Then she did something I'll never forget. She grabbed the number dispenser machine, that heavy metal box that sits on the counter, and tried to rip it right off. The thing was bolted down, but she yanked so hard that she actually bent the metal bracket. "Karen, this whole system is ridiculous. I'm not taking a number like some peasant." My supervisor, who's this calm guy in his 50s, came out from the back office. "Supervisor, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to calm down or leave the premises." "Karen, oh, you're going to ask me to leave? I don't think so, buddy. Like I said, I pay your salary. You work for me." She got right up in his face, pointing her finger at him and yelling. That's when she pulled out her phone and started live streaming the whole thing. "Karen, everyone needs to see how terrible the service is here. Look at these people. They're refusing to serve a tax-paying citizen. This is what government waste looks like." She was holding the phone up, narrating like she was some kind of investigative journalist. People in line were recording her too, but she didn't seem to care. My supervisor stayed remarkably calm through the whole thing. "Supervisor, ma'am, if you don't lower your voice and follow our procedures, I'll have to call security." "Karen, call security. Go ahead. Call whoever you want. I'm live streaming this whole thing. My followers are going to see exactly how you treat people here." She kept ranting into her phone about government corruption and lazy workers. Meanwhile, my supervisor had stepped away and was making a phone call. I assumed he was calling security, but it turned out to be something much more interesting. While Karen continued her performance for her live stream audience, my supervisor came back with a printout. He looked at it, then looked at Karen, then whispered something to me. "Supervisor, what's the name on the registration you're trying to renew?" Karen was still filming herself complaining, so she answered without really thinking. "Karen, it's under my business name, Premium Auto Solutions. And before you ask, yes, I have every right to use that registration, even though these incompetent people are trying to tell me otherwise." My supervisor nodded and made another phone call. Within about 5 minutes, 2 police officers walked through the front door. The whole room got dead silent. Karen was still live streaming, but now she looked confused. "Officer 1, are you the owner of Premium Auto Solutions?" Karen: "Yes, and I'm in the middle of documenting the terrible service here. These people are refusing to help me renew my registration." Officer 2: "Ma'am, we need to talk to you about that registration. There are some irregularities with the paperwork you submitted." That's when everything started to unravel. Turns out, the registration Karen was trying to renew had been flagged weeks ago for fraudulent documentation. She'd apparently submitted fake insurance papers and forged inspection certificates. The system had been holding her renewal pending investigation. "Karen, this is ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with my paperwork." Officer 1: "Ma'am, we're going to need you to come with us to sort this out, and you'll need to turn off that camera." Karen: "I'm not turning off anything. My viewers need to see this harassment." But you could tell she was starting to panic. Her whole demeanor changed from entitled anger to nervous defensiveness. Officer 2: "Ma'am, you're being investigated for document fraud. Your behavior here today has just made this situation much more serious." The officers explained that her disruption of government business, destruction of property with a number machine, and aggressive behavior towards staff had turned what might have been a simple citation into multiple misdemeanor charges. "Karen, this is insane. I just wanted to renew my registration." Officer 1: "With fraudulent paperwork. And now you've added disturbing the peace and destruction of public property to the list." They escorted her out in handcuffs while she was still trying to live stream with her phone. One of the officers had to take it away from her when she wouldn't stop filming. After they left, the whole DMV erupted in applause. The elderly man who'd been at the front of the line shook his head and chuckled. "Elderly man, in 50 years, I've never seen anything like that." My supervisor came over to check on everyone. "Supervisor, sorry about that, folks. Let's get back to helping everyone with their renewals." The best part came later when my coworker showed me that Karen's live stream had been recorded by multiple people and was already going viral on social media. The comments were absolutely brutal. People were roasting her entitled attitude and praising the DMV staff for staying professional. We found out a few days later that she ended up with charges for document fraud, disturbing the peace, destruction of public property, and interfering with government operations. Her 3 businesses turned out to be mostly fake 2 just shell companies she used for various scams. The whole thing became a training example at our office about how to handle disruptive customers and why it's important to flag suspicious paperwork. Karen's meltdown actually helped us catch a bigger fraud operation she was running. Sometimes the system really does work exactly the way it's supposed to. Story 2. I've been running my pet grooming business for 8 years now. It started as a small side hustle after I got certified in professional pet grooming, but word spread quickly about my work. I specialized in high-end cuts and had built up a solid clientele of wealthy pet owners who wanted their dogs looking like they stepped out of a magazine. My shop was located in the upscale part of town, and I charged premium prices because I delivered premium results. I had invested everything into this business: top-of-the-line equipment, organic shampoos, heated floors, even a small waiting area with complimentary coffee for owners. The overhead was expensive, but it was worth it to see happy pets and satisfied customers. That Tuesday started like any other. I had 3 appointments scheduled, including a new client who had booked online for her Pomeranian. When she walked in, I immediately noticed the tiny dog trembling in her designer carrier. The little guy couldn't have weighed more than 4 pounds and was clearly stressed. "Karen, I need the royal lion cut for my baby here." She set the carrier down with more force than necessary, making the dog whimper. "Me, I'd be happy to discuss grooming options for your Pomeranian. What exactly are you looking for?" "Karen, I said the royal lion cut. You know, like those pictures on Instagram where they look like little lions. I want him to look majestic." I knelt down to get a better look at the dog. He was shaking uncontrollably and had clearly been overbred. His joints looked fragile and his coat was thin in places. "Me, I understand what you're looking for, but I have to be honest with you. A lion cut involves shaving most of the body and leaving longer hair on specific areas. For a dog this small and anxious, it would be extremely stressful and potentially harmful." "Karen, excuse me? I'm paying you good money. Just do what I'm asking." "Me, the safety of the animals in my care comes first. Your dog is already showing signs of severe anxiety. The process would take over an hour and require restraining him. I can offer other cuts that would be much safer and still look beautiful." "Karen, are you seriously refusing to do your job? Do you know how much I paid for this appointment?" She was getting louder, and I could see the other customers in the waiting area starting to look over. "Me, I'm not refusing to groom your dog. I'm refusing to do something that could hurt him. I have years of experience and professional certification. Trust me when I say this isn't safe for a dog his size and temperament." "Karen, I don't care about your opinion. I want what I want, and you're going to do it, or I'm leaving a terrible review everywhere." "Me, I'm sorry, but I won't compromise on animal safety. I can do a gentle trim that will make him look neat and tidy, or I can recommend another groomer who might be willing to attempt what you're asking for." That's when she completely lost it. "Karen, this is ridiculous. You're just being difficult because you think you know better than the customer." She started pacing around my small shop, gesturing wildly. The poor Pomeranian was now panting heavily in his carrier. "Karen, I'm going to sue you for false advertising. Your website says you do all cuts." "Me, ma'am, please lower your voice. You're scaring your dog and my other customers." "Karen, don't tell me what to do. I'm the customer here." Before I could react, she grabbed a bottle of expensive organic dog shampoo from my display shelf and threw it on the floor. The bottle shattered, sending purple liquid everywhere. "Karen, there. Now you have something real to worry about instead of making up excuses. Me, you need to leave. Now." "Karen, I'm not going anywhere until you do what I paid for. And now you owe me for emotional damages. My therapist is going to hear about this trauma." She pulled out her phone and started recording herself. "Karen, everyone needs to see how this so-called professional treats paying customers. I'm being discriminated against." I stayed calm and pointed to the security camera in the corner. "Me, you're welcome to post whatever you want, but you should know that everything that just happened was recorded on my security system." Her face went pale for a second, but she recovered quickly. "Karen, good. Then everyone will see how you refused service and created a hostile environment." She grabbed her dog's carrier and stormed out, still ranting about lawsuits and emotional damages. I spent the next hour cleaning up the mess and rescheduling my other appointments. I felt terrible not because of her threats, but because that poor little dog was going to continue suffering with an owner like that. The next morning, I woke up to dozens of notifications on my phone. Someone had shared the security footage from my shop online. My business partner had posted it on social media with a simple caption explaining what happened, and it had gone viral overnight. The comments were overwhelmingly supportive. Pet owners, veterinarians, and other groomers were praising my decision to prioritize the dog's safety. Several people mentioned they wished more businesses would stand up to entitled customers who put their pets at risk. But the best part came later that week. Someone had started a crowdfunding campaign to help with my business expenses after the incident. They called it Supporting Ethical Pet Care and shared my story about refusing to compromise on animal welfare despite customer pressure. The campaign raised over $15,000 in 3 days. People from all over the country were donating and sharing stories about their own experiences with entitled pet owners or praising groomers who put animals first. Karen, meanwhile, wasn't having such a good time. The video had been shared in local pet owner groups, and several other businesses in the area recognized her. Within a week, she had been banned from 3 other grooming shops, 2 pet stores, and a veterinary clinic. Apparently, she had a history of making unreasonable demands and threatening lawsuits when she didn't get her way. The irony wasn't lost on me. Her attempt to damage my reputation had backfired spectacularly. My appointment book filled up for the next 3 months with new customers who specifically mentioned they wanted to support a groomer who prioritized animal welfare over profit. I used some of the donated money to install better security cameras and improved ventilation in my shop. The rest went into a fund I set up to help pet owners who couldn't afford proper grooming but needed it for their animals' health. As for the little Pomeranian, I heard through the local pet community that he ended up being rehomed to a family who actually understood how to care for an anxious small dog. Apparently, Karen's threats about lawsuits never materialized once she realized the video made her look like the problem. Sometimes standing up for what's right comes with a cost. But in this case, doing the right thing ended up being the best business decision I ever made. My reputation in the community is stronger than ever, and I sleep well knowing I'll never compromise an animal's well-being just to make a difficult customer happy. Story 3. I've been running my family's organic fruit stand at the Saturday Farmers Market for 3 years now. My grandfather started this business 40 years ago, and after he passed, I took over to keep his legacy alive. The work is hard. I wake up at 4 a.m. every Saturday to load the truck, drive 2 hours to the market, and set up my stall before the crowds arrive. But I love connecting with customers who appreciate quality, locally grown produce. The farmers market sits on a beautiful patch of city-owned land downtown. We vendors pay for permits, follow strict health codes, and contribute to the local economy. It's a tight-knit community where we all look out for each other. Last Saturday started like any other. I had my usual display of apples, pears, peaches, and berries arranged in neat wooden crates. The morning rush was busy but manageable. Around noon, things quieted down, and I was restocking when I noticed a woman in her 50s browsing my fruit. She picked up several apples, examined them closely, then grabbed a basket and started filling it with my best produce organic Honeycrisp apples, perfectly ripe peaches, and a container of expensive blackberries. I watched as she loaded up what had to be at least $30 worth of fruit. Then she turned and started walking away. Excuse me, ma'am, you need to pay for those. She stopped and turned around with this look of pure indignation. Karen, pay? I don't think so. Organic food is a human right. The government should be providing this for free to everyone. I blinked, thinking I must have misheard. I'm sorry, but this is my business. I grow this fruit myself and need to sell it to make a living. Karen, that's your problem, not mine. I shouldn't have to pay inflated prices for what nature provides freely. This is price gouging. My neighbor at the vegetable stand had noticed the commotion and was watching nervously. Other customers started gathering around. Ma'am, these aren't inflated prices. This fruit costs money to grow, harvest, and transport. If you can't afford it, I understand, but you can't just take it. Karen's face turned red. She clutched the basket tighter. Karen, how dare you assume I can't afford it? I make more money than you ever will. But I refuse to participate in this capitalist scam. Organic food should be free as a basic human right. Then you're welcome to grow your own, but you cannot take mine without paying. I stepped closer and held out my hand for the basket. That's when she completely lost it. Karen, don't you touch me. This is harassment. She started screaming at the top of her lungs, causing everyone in the market to stop and stare. My fellow vendors came over to see what was happening. Karen, you're all witnesses. This man is harassing me for trying to access my basic human rights. The vegetable vendor, an older man who'd been doing this for 20 years, tried to calm the situation. Vegetable vendor, ma'am, we all have to pay for our produce. That's how markets work. Karen, I'm calling the city right now. This entire market is going to be shut down for harassment and discrimination. She pulled out her phone and dialed, still clutching my fruit basket. I stood there in shock as she got someone on the line. Karen, yes, I need to report illegal harassment at the downtown farmers market. These vendors are discriminating against me and preventing me from accessing organic food, which is my constitutional right. She went on for several minutes, making increasingly wild claims about how we were running an illegal operation and violating her civil rights. The crowd around us had grown, with people recording on their phones. While she ranted into her phone, I called my contact at the city planning office, the same person who issues our permits every year. Hi, this is the organic fruit vendor at the Saturday market. We have a situation here with someone claiming the market is illegal. City official, illegal? You're all properly permitted. What's going on? I explained the situation while Karen continued her dramatic phone performance nearby. City official, I'll send someone over right away. Within 15 minutes, a city inspector arrived along with 2 police officers. Karen immediately rushed over to them. Karen, finally, these criminals have been harassing me and preventing me from accessing basic nutrition. She was still holding my basket of fruit. City inspector, ma'am, I need you to calm down. Can you explain what happened? Karen, I was trying to take some organic fruit, which should be free as a human right, and this man started harassing me. Police officer, did you pay for that fruit you're holding? Karen, I shouldn't have to. Organic food should be provided by the government. The police officer looked at me. Police officer, is this your merchandise? Me? Yes, sir. She filled up that basket and tried to walk away without paying. When I asked her to pay, she started screaming and threatening to shut down the market. The city inspector checked his tablet. City inspector, ma'am, this market operates under valid city permits. All vendors are licensed and inspected regularly. There's nothing illegal happening here. Karen, that's impossible. I demand you shut this down immediately. City inspector, I'm not shutting down anything. These vendors contribute to our local economy and provide a valuable service to the community. The police officer stepped forward. Police officer, ma'am, you need to either pay for that fruit or put it back. What you're doing right now is theft. Karen, theft? This is discrimination. I'm being targeted for my beliefs. Police officer, your beliefs don't entitle you to other people's property. Pay for the fruit or return it. Karen, I refuse. She hugged the basket closer to her chest like a child with a toy. The absurdity of a grown woman stealing fruit while claiming it was her human right wasn't lost on anyone watching. Police officer, ma'am, you're under arrest for theft. As they handcuffed her, she continued screaming about her rights and threatening lawsuits. The basket of fruit fell to the ground, and my perfect peaches rolled across the pavement. The second police officer picked up my damaged produce. Police officer, sorry about this. We'll need you to fill out a report for the theft charge. City inspector, I also need to inform you that due to her disruptive behavior and theft, she's now banned from all city-sponsored vendor events in the region. We keep a database of problem individuals. She's banned from all markets. City inspector, every farmer's market, food festival, and vendor event that requires city permits. Her name goes in the system today. As they loaded Karen into the police car, she was still screaming about organic food being a human right. The crowd slowly dispersed, with several customers coming over to buy fruit and show their support. Regular customer, I can't believe someone would do that to you. Unfortunately, there are entitled people everywhere, but I'm glad the system worked. The other vendors helped me clean up the scattered fruit, and many of them shared their own stories of difficult customers. We all agreed we'd never seen anything quite like this before. Later that week, I got a call from the city inspector. Karen had indeed been charged with theft, and during her court appearance, she apparently gave the judge the same speech about organic food being a human right. The judge was not amused and added community service to her fine. The best part: the community service involves working at a food bank, helping distribute free food to people who actually need it, not people who simply feel entitled to it. My Saturday markets are back to normal now, though other vendors and I keep an eye out for anyone matching her description. The story has become something of a legend among the market community, and we've nicknamed her the Organic Rights Lady. Sometimes I wonder if she learned anything from the experience, but honestly, I doubt it. Some people are so convinced the world owes them everything that they'll never understand why actions have consequences. Story 4. I've been working at TechWorld for about 8 months now. I'm 17 and this is my first real job. I took it to save up for college since my parents can't really help much with tuition. The pay isn't great, but the experience has been decent overall. I've dealt with difficult customers before, but nothing prepared me for what happened last Tuesday. It was a slow afternoon when she walked in. Middle-aged woman with that haircut, you know the one. She was clutching a phone that looked like it had been through a blender. The screen was completely shattered. There was water damage visible around the edges, and parts of the case were literally falling off. She marched straight to the counter where I was standing and slammed the phone down. "Karen, this thing is possessed. Your store put demons in my phone." I blinked a few times, trying to process what she just said. I'm sorry, what seems to be the problem with your device?" "Karen, don't play dumb with me. I downloaded that horoscope app from your recommendation, and now there are demons talking to me through my phone." I looked at the phone again. It was clearly water damaged, and the screen was so cracked you couldn't see anything on it. "Ma'am, I can see your phone has some physical damage. What exactly is happening that makes you think there are demons?" "Karen, it keeps making weird noises and the screen flickers with evil messages. This is your fault for selling me a cursed phone." At this point, I noticed another customer nearby had stopped browsing and was watching our interaction. He had his phone out, and I could see he was recording. Smart move, honestly. "I understand you're frustrated, but I need to ask, has your phone been exposed to water recently? I can see some damage that looks like." "Karen, that has nothing to do with anything. I may have dropped it in my pool yesterday, but that's not why it's possessed. You people planted demons in it when I wasn't looking." "Ma'am, water damage would definitely cause the issues you're describing. Unfortunately, our warranty doesn't cover water damage, and I didn't recommend any horoscope app to you. I've never seen you in the store before today." "Karen, are you calling me a liar? I demand to speak to your manager." He's at lunch right now, but I can help you. If you'd like to purchase a new phone, I can show you our current models." "Karen, I'm not buying anything. I want my money back for this demon phone right now." I understand, but without a receipt and with the water damage, I can't process a return. The phone appears to be physically damaged rather than having any software issues. That's when she completely lost it. Her face turned red and she started screaming. "Karen, you little brat. How dare you refuse to help me? I'm a paying customer. Do you know who I am?" "Ma'am, please lower your voice. I'm trying to help, but I need to follow store policy." "Karen, I don't care about your stupid policies. Give me my money back, or I'll sue this entire company." The customer who was recording had moved closer, still filming. A few other shoppers had stopped to watch the scene unfold. I really wish I could help, but without proof of purchase and with the extensive water damage." Before I could finish my sentence, she picked up the broken phone and hurled it directly at my head. I barely had time to duck, and it hit me right above my left ear. The impact was hard enough that I stumbled backward and felt blood start to trickle down my neck where the sharp plastic had cut me. The store went completely silent for a moment. Everyone was staring in shock. Customer with phone: "Holy crap, did you just assault that kid?" "I got all of that on video." Karen suddenly seemed to realize what she had done. Her anger quickly turned to panic. Karen, he was being disrespectful. I was defending myself. Customer with phone, defending yourself? The kid was just doing his job. You threw a phone at his head. Other customers started speaking up, confirming what they had witnessed. Karen looked around desperately as she realized the entire store had turned against her. I need to call the police and my manager. Karen, wait, no, let's just forget this happened. I'll leave quietly. But it was too late. My manager had just returned from lunch and walked in to see me bleeding and Karen looking panicked. After I quickly explained what happened, he immediately called both the police and our district manager. The customer who filmed everything stayed to give his statement to the police. The video clearly showed her throwing the phone at me unprovoked. She was arrested for assault and banned from not just our store, but every Tech World location in the country. The best part? When the police looked at her demon phone, they found it was so water damaged it wouldn't even turn on. The weird noises she was hearing were just the speakers crackling from water damage, and the flickering screen was a result of the cracked display and moisture inside. I had to go to urgent care for the cut on my head needed 3 stitches, but my manager made sure workers' compensation covered everything, and I got 2 paid days off to recover. Karen tried to claim she was the victim and that I had provoked her, but the video evidence was overwhelming. She ended up pleading guilty to simple assault and had to pay a fine plus restitution for my medical bills. The video went viral on social media too, which I'm sure didn't help her case. My coworkers still joke about checking our phones for demons before we sell them, and whenever someone comes in with obvious water damage, we all remember the day Karen thought we were running some kind of supernatural phone conspiracy. The whole experience taught me that some people will blame everyone except themselves for their problems. But it also showed me that there are decent people out there who will stand up and do the right thing when they see something wrong happening. Story 5. A bit of background. I'm a children's librarian at the downtown branch, and I've been working there for about 3 years now. I love my job, especially running the weekly story time sessions for kids aged 3-7. Every Tuesday at 2 p.m., we gather in the children's section for our reading circle where I read picture books, we sing songs, and the kids get to interact and laugh together. It's always been one of the highlights of my week. The children's section is clearly marked and separated from the quiet study areas by design. There are colorful signs everywhere indicating it's a family-friendly space where normal conversation and children's activities are expected. The actual quiet zone is on the opposite side of the library, complete with silent study area signs and everything. Last Tuesday started like any other. I had about 15 kids sitting in our circle with their parents scattered on nearby chairs and beanbags. We were reading The Very Hungry Caterpillar, and the children were giggling at the part where the caterpillar eats through all the different foods. Just normal, happy kid sounds, nothing excessive or disruptive. That's when she appeared. This woman in her 40s came storming into our reading area, her face red with rage. She was wearing yoga pants and had a meditation cushion tucked under her arm, which should have been my first clue about what was coming. Karen, excuse me. This is absolutely ridiculous. Your little brats are completely ruining my meditation session. The kids immediately went quiet, and I could see some of the younger ones looking scared. Several parents shifted uncomfortably in their seats. I'm sorry, but this is the children's section. We have story time every Tuesday at this time. The quiet study areas are on the other side of the library if you need complete silence. Karen, I don't care what section this is. I've been coming to this library for meditation for months, and I have every right to peace and quiet. One of the fathers, clearly trying to be helpful, spoke up. Parent, ma'am, there are designated quiet zones upstairs and in the back section. The children's area is meant for family activities. Karen, don't tell me where I can and can't meditate. I was here first today, and these children are being way too loud. At this point, I could see my colleague from the reference desk heading over, having noticed the commotion. Colleague, is everything okay here? Me. This woman is upset about the noise from our scheduled story time. Colleague. Ma'am, I can show you to our quiet study areas if you'd like. The children's section does have regular programming that can involve normal conversation and activities. Karen, this is discrimination. You're all ganging up on me because I'm trying to better myself through meditation. I demand you stop this reading nonsense immediately. Me, I'm sorry, but we can't cancel a scheduled program. These families planned their afternoon around story time. That's when she completely lost it. Karen, fine. If you won't respect my needs, then I'll show you how it feels to have your space disrupted. She grabbed the mobile cart we use for returned books and shoved it as hard as she could. Books went flying everywhere, scattering across the floor. Some of the children started crying, and parents immediately began gathering their kids. Me, ma'am, you need to stop this right now. I'm calling security. Karen, security? Security? I'm the victim here. She then did something I still can't believe. She marched straight to the staff lounge behind the circulation desk, went inside, and locked the door. Karen, shouting from inside, I'm not coming out until someone compensates me for the emotional trauma you've caused. This library owes me at least $500 for ruining my spiritual practice. My colleague immediately called the police while I tried to calm down the families and clean up the scattered books. Some parents were asking if we should reschedule, but honestly, I was more concerned about making sure everyone was safe. About 10 minutes later, 2 police officers arrived. They tried talking to her through the staff lounge door. Officer 1, ma'am, you need to come out of there immediately. You're trespassing in a staff-only area. Karen, I'm not moving until this library pays me damages. These people have created a hostile environment for people seeking inner peace. Officer 2, if you don't come out voluntarily, we'll have to remove you and you'll be facing charges. Karen, charges? I'm the one who should be pressing charges. This is harassment. The officers had to get the master key from our head librarian to unlock the staff lounge. When they opened the door, she was sitting cross-legged on the floor with her meditation cushion, acting like she was in some kind of peaceful protest. Officer 1, ma'am, you're under arrest for trespassing and vandalism. Karen, vandalism? Those books were already disorganized, and I have every right to meditate wherever I want in a public building. As they escorted her out in handcuffs, she was still yelling about her rights and how the library was discriminating against her spiritual needs. The families who had stayed to watch this unfold were just staring in complete shock. One of the moms came up to me afterward. Parent, is she going to be banned from the library? Me, that's up to our administration, but given that she's been charged with crimes committed on library property, I'd say it's very likely. The best part? We found out later that she had never actually used the quiet study areas even once. According to our security cameras, she had been setting up her meditation spot right next to the children's section every week, despite there being perfectly quiet spaces available throughout the building. She ended up being banned from all branches in our library system and had to pay fines for the damaged books plus court costs. Some of the parents from Storytime even offered to be witnesses if needed. Now we have a running joke at work about our meditation cart incident. The head librarian put up additional signs clearly marking the children's area as a family activity zone just to be extra clear, though I don't think it would have mattered to someone that determined to be outraged. The kids from that story time still ask me sometimes if the angry meditation lady is coming back. I always assure them that story time is safe, and that some adults just forget how to use their inside voices and indoor behavior.